Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're diving headfirst into a fresh stack of sources. Specifically, the top 10 global headlines from the last 12 hours or so of July 17th, 2025. Our mission, like always, is to cut through the noise. We want to pull out the most important bits, connect some dots, and give you the insights you need to feel, well, truly clued in on what's happening globally. Okay, let's unpack this. We've got quite a mix today. Everything from high-stakes diplomacy and finance to some really surprising corporate moves, natural disasters, and even some pretty inspiring achievements.
Yeah, it's really about finding that signal in all the noise, isn't it?
Right.
Helping you see how these things that seem separate actually weave together, giving you that context.
Exactly. So let's kick things off with geopolitics and economics. There's this interesting development. Former U.S. President Trump is apparently lining up a state visit to Pakistan in September. And the key thing here, highlighted by Reuters, is this would be the first visit like this by a U.S. leader since 2006.
Right, 2006.
Like,
That's
you were.
nearly 2 decades.
A long time.
A very long time. And that gap is what makes it so significant. And a state visit, it's not just a quick meeting. It's the highest level of diplomatic recognition. It signals a real intent to maybe elevate or change the relationship.
So a former president doing this.
Exactly. After such a long break, it suggests maybe a move to re-engage outside the usual channels.
Yeah.
It could shift things subtly, influence regional dynamics, maybe even future aid talks. It's definitely something to watch.
Fascinating. One visit carrying so much potential weight, I guess, staying with global players, but shifting to finance. The G20 finance chiefs are meeting in Durban.
Mm-hmm.
And according to Business Insider Reuters, WKMG, sounds like it's not exactly smooth sailing. They're dealing with tariff tensions, high capital costs, and apparently the U.S. isn't fully present in some key delegations.
Yeah, and they're trying to get their first full communique since July 2024.
A whole year.
A whole year without full consensus from the world's major economies. That tells you something right there about the divisions. These tariff tensions, they're not abstract. They affect prices, jobs, trade.
Right, the things people feel every day.
Precisely. And high capital costs. That makes it more expensive for businesses to borrow, for developing nations to get loans. It slows everything down.
And the U.S. absence.
Well, that just makes getting everyone on the same page even harder, especially when you need coordinated action.
So another area where global powers are, well, grappling. And speaking of grappling with power and finance, a huge corporate deal just hit the wall. Canadian retailer Couch-Tard has pulled its massive $46 billion bid for Seven & I, the Japanese company.
$46 billion, wow.
Yeah, and Wikipedia and Reuters say the reason given was a lack of engagement from Seven & I. Couch-Tard's shares dropped 9% on the news.
That market reaction, that 9% slide, shows how big this was expected to be, and lack of engagement. In a deal this size, that's usually code for something more fundamental.
Like what?
Like maybe a deep disagreement on the price or the terms, or maybe Seven and I just didn't want to be bought. Valuing independence, perhaps. Or it could even be, cultural clashes in how they approach deals. Cross-border M&A can be tricky like that.
Interesting. It shows the target company still holds a lot of cards, even with a huge offer on the table. Right. And sticking with big corporations under the microscope, Meta is back in the headlines. Fortune.com is reporting that legal proceedings are now officially moving forward against Zuckerberg and other leaders.
Over that $8 billion lawsuit, right?
That's the one. Connected to the whole Cambridge Analytica scandal.
Right, Cambridge Analytica. That feels like ages ago, but the fallout continues. An $8 billion lawsuit moving forward now. That's serious. It likely represents a huge class action. It just underscores the massive ongoing legal heat on big tech over data privacy.
Still dealing with the repercussions years later.
Absolutely. And the outcome here could really set precedents globally for how these companies are held accountable, could force changes in how they operate.
Definitely one to keep an eye on. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. Some significant events impacting people very directly. We have some tragic news coming out of Pakistan. Heavy monsoon rains. Reports say 54 people have died in just the past day. Widespread flooding, infrastructure damage.
Oh, this is just awful. 54 lives lost. Monsoon season is expected, yes, but this intensity, the flooding, the damage, it highlights just how vulnerable communities can be to extreme weather.
And the challenges of infrastructure, climate resilience.
Exactly. Especially for nations already facing those challenges. It's devastating.
Truly heartbreaking. On a completely different note, a story of, well, resilience from Belgium. There was a massive fire. It damaged the main stage at Tomorrowland.
The music festival.
Yeah, just hours before it was supposed to start. EW.com and Wikipedia confirmed it. But incredibly, the organizers say the festival will go on as planned, both weekends.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's actually amazing. The main stage is usually the heart of an event like that. A fire hours before. You'd expect cancellation or at least major delays. Their commitment to push through, it speaks volumes. Logistics, planning, maybe just sheer determination. Incredible.
You really do wonder how they're pulling it off.
Mm-hmm.
And sticking with remarkable stories, but on a personal level, there's a young swimmer making waves. 12-year-old Yuzidi from China, apparently stealing the show at the World Swimming Championships.
12 years old?
12.
Huh?
WPLG and U.S. News reported she's clocking just astonishing times.
That's fantastic. It's not just the swimming, is it? It's the mental strength. Competing at a world championship at that age. The pressure, the focus needed.
Incredible composure.
Yeah, truly inspiring. Shows the amazing talent coming up in the next generation.
The future looks fast.
Oh.
Okay, let's pivot again. Investigations and governance now. First, an update on that Air India crash probe from July. Sources like Hindustan Times, Reuters, YouTube.
Yeah.
They indicate investigators are looking closely at cockpit recordings and suggesting pilot actions are becoming a central part of the inquiry.
That's a critical phase in any crash investigation. When the focus shifts to pilot actions, it means digging deep into human factors, decisions made under pressure, training, communication, fatigue, everything.
It's not just about finding blame, is it?
Not at all. It's about accountability, yes, but more importantly, learning lessons, identifying any systemic issues to improve safety across the board, prevent future tragedies.
Vital work. And sticking with governance, but in the sports world, the ICC annual conference is happening in Singapore. And the Times of India reports USA Cricket might be facing suspension. Plus, there are key elections for associate members.
Right. The ICC is cricket's global governing body, a suspension for USA Cricket. That would be a major setback for the sport's growth in the States. Usually these things point to pretty serious issues internally. Governance problems, mismanagement.
Not meeting their obligations.
Exactly. It highlights that need for strong, transparent leadership in these global sports bodies, especially as they try to expand into new markets like the U.S.
Okay, and finally today, let's look at societal movements. We're seeing these good trouble lives on protests across the U.S. Tens of thousands expected, apparently, in all 50 states and Puerto Rico, invoking John Lewis's legacy.
Good trouble.
John Lewis's idea of necessary nonviolent disruption to fight injustice. That phrase still resonates so powerfully.
And the scale of it. All 50 states, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, that widespread nature tells you something. It suggests his legacy is deeply connected to current movements for civil rights and social change. It's not just one issue, likely a broad spectrum of concerns. It shows that spirit of activism is still a very strong force.
Wow. So looking back, we've covered a huge amount of ground. From, Trump's potential Pakistan visit and G20 tensions to that massive couched hard deal falling through, the ongoing meta lawsuit.
And the tragedy in Pakistan, but also that resilience at Tomorrowland and the young swimmer.
Right, and the Air India probe, the ICC governance questions.
And wrapping up with those widespread good trouble protests.
It really shows how interconnected everything is, doesn't it? Absolutely. These aren't isolated stories. They're all threads in this incredibly complex global tapestry. Geopolitics affects markets, tech raises ethical questions, local disasters have global ripples. It all influences each other. And, this raises an important question for you listening. How do these individual stories, when you put them together, shape your understanding of what's happening right now?
And what other connections might be lurking just beneath the surface, waiting to be discovered? We hope this deep dive has helped you feel more informed about today's key events. As always, we definitely encourage you to keep digging into the topics that caught your interest the most.